See?
What do you know about this question other than the fact that you might see it tomorrow? What do you think about that? Answer is what? C?
Poppet nozzle.
Might see this one tomorrow too. And this one. What do you think?
A. Is it?
It is not.
It's B, isn't it?
Somebody was paying attention. Oxygen sensor is not used during pump and operation. It's not hot yet. Okay, we did 4, right?
A.
Okay. So let's talk about 5 for a second. Why is 5A? Vacuum pump and fuel pressure regulators
Fuel
maintain equal
pressure
pressure
regulator.
cross injectors all the time. It does. Why is B wrong?
Isn't intake
Take
manifold
manifold
pressure
pressure.
buildup in the throttle is like
It's high idle when it's driving. It's low when it's
Pressure buildup.
because of the vacuum.
Take B says intake manifold pressure is high at idle.
It's low at idle.
What's high at idle?
Vacuum.
Vacuum, which means the pressure is low, right? Okay, just want to make sure you understand that, even though it was the correct answer. Let's see that one as well. Which sensor has the greatest influence on injector pulse besides the mass airflow sensor?
IAT.
Not intake air temperature.
D,
What?
D,
Throttle position, yep. Throttle position. How far open is that? Throttle. Clear flood, right? What sensor is used on a speed density system?
all are you.
All.
Okay.
What type of device is used in a typical idle air control? C.
Stepper motor, we kind of bypassed that. And number 10 was a, I think we did that already as well. Okay. Is there any new questions in the book? Anybody look those over yet? Or are, there's usually a few new ones. Some are repeat, but. VDI is next. This is what you will see on the majority of the vehicles you will be working on.
Probably 4, I think.
Or is there any question?
I think so.
Why is vacuum line effect? Yeah, it is, but it's just a reworded. Create equal pressure drop cross injectors. We had a similar question, but not that exact one. How about 6? We haven't seen 6.
the sequential injectors, electric. So they use what's it called, the orange cables.
No, you're thinking of high voltage.
Okay.
When you hear of a 5-volt from the PCM, what is it typically referring to? You've been down this road many times. What is it? What does this usually refer to? What does that usually refer to? Retention is not that good, is it? Reference voltage on a sensor. The question in the book reads, port fuel injections operate on 5 volts from the computer. Is an injector a sensor?
It's an output.
Is an injector a sensor, yes or no?
Yes.
No, it is not.
Mm,
Could an injector operate on 5 volts? Not a chance. 12 minimum. So A is wrong, okay? B only for number 6, if you happen to be on 945, which is where you should be. What type of port fuel injection uses fuel temperature and or pressure sensor? C, we did that one, right? Reduce noise for number 8.
For number 6, I was trying to look for it. What page is that on? Because I
Well-
was looking at the port fuel injection on 937, and then I was looking at the fuel injectors on 941 going into the, I don't know, I was looking for it.
Fuel injector is just basically a solenoid, right? Opens and closes. What does it normally take to operate something like that? At least the system voltage on the vehicle, right? 12 to 14 or 15, depending on whether the engine's running or not.
Oh, okay, so that's just a standard, like, you need to know, not
Mhm.
something that would necessarily be in the book.
Yeah, it should be in here though. It just says voltage applied to the solenoid, but it's gonna be your system voltage, it's not a sensor. The only thing that's gonna use 5-volt reference is a sensor. Injector is an output, not an input. It's controlled, it doesn't give information. All right. We went through all these, right? 10, stepper motor. 9 was oxygen sensor, right? That's the sensor that is not used to determine injector pulse during open loop operation. That's when the engine is first started. All right, everybody got that down? We're close enough?
Yeah.
All right. What is the difference between gasoline direct injection and port fuel injection?
Well, gasoline system the fuel is burned directly into combustion chamber.
Okay, that's a good answer.
And
On a gasoline direct injected engine, the fuel injector injects gasoline directly into the combustion chamber, not into the intake port. Here is a cylinder head off of a direct injected engine. See where the injectors go in?
Combustion chamber.
Right there, right? Not into the intake port, right into the combustion chamber. Okay? What other differences is there?
the gasoline direct injection system varies the fuel pressure to achieve greater fuel delivery using a very short pulse time, which is usually less than 1 millisecond.
Okay?
Short fuel injection, constant fuel pressure with variable injector pulse width. And the GDI is almost constant injector with varying fuel pressure. Okay, so the main difference between the port and the GDI is that the port, the pressure is variable. Is that right? Am I
Mhm.
understanding that right?
Mhm, mhm.
And that for the GDI, it's varying the fuel, okay. So the port is varying the injection, the
The
amount.
injector pulse width on a port fuel injected,
Okay, the pulse width. and the-
meaning how long the injector's open.
Okay, how long is it?
Okay, the other thing is, a GDI system is going to have 2 fuel pumps, right? It's gonna have an electric pump in the tank, just like all cars do. And it's gonna have a mechanical fuel pump driven off of the camshaft for the high pressure fuel pump. We've looked at this before. The oddball lobe on this cam is this one, right? This is the one that doesn't look like any of the other ones, right? This drives the high pressure fuel pump. This is the same cam that's in your Camaro. Okay, high pressure fuel pump is driven off of this. That's what achieves the extremely high pressure. Could be up to 3,000 pounds.
What's the cam that makes the car sound choppy?
What's that?
Which one is the cam what makes the cam, that cam that makes the car sound choppy? V8s.
Well, that is a cam profile that has a little bit different low lift and duration, stuff like that, than the original. Normally, factory ones, they try to make them as smooth as possible so you get power out of them as well. But when you change to an aftermarket cam that has more lift and duration, you get that choppy idle. What happened? What's going on over here? Oh. You guys all right? Everybody awake over here? You sure?
Okay.
Did you have too long of a weekend, Terrence? You have too much fun? You with us?
Yeah.
Okay, you can sleep at home. Okay? What are some advantages and disadvantages of GDI?
Advantages, improved fuel economy.
Okay.
Higher compression, lower octane gas. Is that back to what we were talking about in the 87, 89, 85 type thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the higher volumetric efficiency, what do they mean by that, volumetric? Is that where, is that the expansion of the gases?
Yeah, it's basically a measurement of how efficient the engine is running. We'll get into that in a minute. So, it sounds like there's quite a few advantages. What about disadvantages? Is there any disadvantages to that system?
Higher cost due to high pressure pumping and components?
No, yep, higher cost, more components, yep.
Due to the high compression, a NOx storage catalyst is sometimes required to meet emission standards,
Okay.
especially in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
and uses up to 6 operating modes depending on engine load and speed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that what the drives come in, drive 1, 2, 3, 4? Or the low and high?
Oh, you mean your shift modes?
Yeah,
No,
the shift,
no.
no.
No, that's just modes of operation, meaning what type of mode is the fuel injection system entering at certain times, operating conditions.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
a
then
little, yeah, different.
Okay, and then which requires more calculations to be performed by the PCM.
Mm-hmm. Parts are more expensive, there's more parts, pistons are even different because of where the fuel is injected, okay? I'm gonna go through some of the differences, how to troubleshoot the GDS system. One of the other disadvantages that we didn't get to, but we will, is carbon buildup on the intake valves. Port fuel injection squirts of fuel right directly on the intake valve, right? So it kind of helps clean it. When the fuel is injected into the combustion chamber, the intake valve no longer gets cleaned from the fuel injected, so.
And now, is that have to do with the charcoal canister? Is that tie, it doesn't tie in with that?
No. Charcoal canister is strictly evap system for evaporative emissions, just gas fumes.
Okay.
Storage and burning of gas fumes. Port fuel versus direct injection. Squirted directly in the combustion chamber. Constant pressure but variable injector pulse width. GDI is almost constant injector pulse width with varying fuel pressure. Direct injection system sprays high pressure fuel up to almost 3,000 pounds into the combustion chamber. Improves fuel economy. You can run higher compression. Compression is power, right? And the higher compression the engine has, the more power it's capable of. You can use lower acting fuel, has a higher volumetric efficiency. Disadvantages, higher cost, higher NOx emissions, more components. They don't list carbon buildup on the intake valves, but sometimes that can be a little bit of an issue.
So basically working on when, okay, so, never mind, I got it.
Okay, example 1 and 2, right? Port fuel injection. Fuel injected there as opposed to directly in the combustion chamber. Two biggest differences, all right? Your low pressure fuel supply, that's a normal pump that's in the tank like it is on every other car. It still has that. It just adds another one. The high pressure pump has a range of between 500 and 2,900 PSI during engine operation. Due to the high fuel pressure, those fuel lines, if you take them off, you're supposed to replace them. You've seen those fuel lines with the little yellow tag on them? Not supposed to reuse those. Fuel rail stores pressure from the pump, stores the high pressure fuel for each injector. Electric pressure control valve installed between pump and the inlet and outlet valves. Right here, little chart. We looked at this as well. This is the lobe on the camshaft that drives the mechanical high pressure fuel pump. I don't know why they drew that like that. That's supposed to have a little cap over it with a little roller on it, because otherwise obviously that would wear out in no time. But they decided to leave that out for some reason. There's no way that would work without it. All right, that is a high pressure fuel pump, very common. Built-in regulators, got electrical connector on it.
So, to understand it with certain types of vehicles, be the difference in like a race car compared to like, I don't know, a Honda? Like, I mean, I know there's a huge difference, but as far as the fuel injection part is concerned, just the fuel injector, is more fuel injected into like the race car? Like, because they're going faster at higher speeds?
Yeah, definitely,
does it have
definitely has to have more
everything
fuel, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The more power the engine makes, the more fuel it's gonna need, more air it's gonna need to take in, so, yeah, it's gonna be different. I'm not exactly sure what your question was, but yes, it will, high performance. Anytime you up the power, it's gonna need more fuel. Sometimes you can change the injector, to a higher flow rate.
That's what I was
Gallon-
trying to
gallons-
ask.
Gallons per hour of, yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens is the fuel injector itself flows more each time it opens.
Okay. And you're able to manipulate that to
Mhm.
where, okay.
Sure. The injectors will operate on a higher voltage, obviously. 70, 60, 70 volts, somewhere on there. That system uses a boost capacitor in the PCM to get the voltage up that high. You gotta have a lot of fuel, you gotta have a lot of voltage to open a fuel injector when it's under that kind of pressure. Different modes, I believe there's 3 different ones, stratified, homogeneous, and, maybe that's it. Oh, stratified catalyst, heating mode, knob protection. These can be used fine-tuned air-fuel mixture on the cylinder. Piston top designs, depending on where the injector is located, it's gonna have a different type of piston top. Where you got it, swirl combustion or tumble.
Do we need to know the modes of operation?
Probably not, no.
Okay.
This is like you see on the cylinder head on the table there, where the injector comes in from the side. So the piston top is going to be a little bit different for that. Important direct system overview. This combines direct injection. Injectors located in the combustion chamber with port fuel injectors in intake manifold. Some manufacturers have designed a system that is both direct injection and port fuel injection both. So you're gonna have a port fuel injector located in the intake manifold and one in the cylinder head to direct fuel directly in the combustion chamber. So that's a combination of both. If you notice, engines have dampening devices on them as far as noise goes. They all have the covers to make them look good because they're not typically very attractive without the covers on them. They will have some sort of noise dampening things because fuel injectors tend to get noisy on those types of engines. Carbon can build up on the tip of the injector and on the backside of the intake valve. That is one of the disadvantages. Could cause drivability issue after a while, but hasn't been too bad that I've noticed. Service precautions: do not use the high pressure lines. Always torque the fittings properly. Do not loosen any fittings with the engine running or cranking. Always replace that seal on the injector. This is one of those seal lines you've probably seen before. It has a yellow tag on it. It is a high pressure line. Not supposed to reuse those. This injector, just like you see here, they're talking about that seal right here on the injector. This little seal right there, it's supposed to replace those when you pull the injector out or replace the injector. Actually, if you replace the injector, it's gonna have a new one, so don't worry about that. All right. What should be replaced? The Teflon seal. There you go. All right. This is the next one, which is what? 81.
Two.
I'm sorry.
Well, never mind, what it
Yeah,
is, we're on that too.
81, yeah.
Since you broke it. Where'd you go? Where'd you
Didn't have these ready to go. that's right, Earl said he didn't come back. Forgot about that.
Single barrel piston.
We don't have full. We got 2 Cs in there.
Hey, anybody find where it's talking about a single barrel piston plunger?
What is it
Y'all find anything where it talks about that?
like?
A single barrel piston plunger?
Nah.
I can't find that shit, bro.
What is it? I'm gonna beat your ass.
All right, 947, right under where it says high pressure pump. It says the high pressure fuel pump connects to a pump in the fuel tank through the low pressure fuel line. The
Oh.
pump consists of a single barrel piston pump.
Okay, I see that. Appreciate you.
Everybody done with that one?
See,
Just about, you can start, okay. Gasoline direct injection is what it's also known as.
City. SIDI.
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's idea.
And what is that?
That is the.
Spark ignition direct injection.
No,
Spark ignited direct injection. Why did they use that term? Why didn't they just use gasoline direct injection? Which they do, but why is it also known as spark ignition direct injection?
because when you, start, turn over the ignition, sends spark to the motor. Or the
That
car.
means that what they're getting at here, I don't honestly know why they did that. My guess is because.
How you gonna ask us then if you don't know?
It might, well, it doesn't really matter, I'm just kind of throwing that out there. I'm guessing because it's similar to how a diesel works and where a diesel fuel is injected. So diesel engines are compression ignition. These still have spark plugs in them, it's a regular gasoline engine, so I think that's why they put that in there.
Gotcha.
Just so there would be no confusion with the diesel.
Diesel.
Okay.
Oh, number 2. Where is the fuel injected in an engine equipped with gasoline direct injection? B. Directly into the combustion
That
chamber.
is right. You're 3 now, since there's no Charles. When compared to port fuel injection, a gasoline direct injection engine will have higher compression, yeah.
GDI fuel injectors operate under the pressure of, how about a D?
Which one?
Dog.
Dog? Dog is incorrect.
C,
Bacon is incorrect.
She says C.
C.
C, okay.
Carton.
I got water in my ear, sorry.
Just
C,
C, right?
okay. 500 to 2,900, all right.
An engine equipped with GDI may have up to B.
Up to 25% improvement in fuel economy, that's pretty good.
Oh, I didn't do this one. The high pressure fuel pump pressure is regulated by using, I got the ECM. So,
Okay.
is it A?
Mm-hmm. The pressure control valve is controlled by the PCM, but pressure control valve is actually in the high pressure fuel pump.
7 is C.
Okay.
7 is a 3-lobe cam, just like we saw on that cam right there, right? The component in this picture is the pressure regulator.
A.
Hey, that's where your electrical connector goes, that's where your regulator is, yep.
D for now.
9 is D, yes, could be carbon on the injectors or the intake valves. Disadvantages all except,
D.
obviously, D should be an obvious answer.
6 was, or no,
A.
5 was B, right?
Yeah, 25.
5 was B, yeah.
Double check it, double check it.
Let's see what we got here.
There it is. Fuel pressure regulator.
Homogeneous. Is that homogeneous?
Homogeneous.
All right. 1 is C, right? For the
Yeah.
NOx,
Yeah.
FID loads so wanna see, GDI have a higher compression.
Oh, shit.
Mode of operation results in a richer air-fuel mixture near the spark plug. I know we didn't go through too much of this.
A?
We're gonna go through
See.
it this way.
So-
This illustration shows what type of combustion chamber?
Direct.
Direct, oh.
Spray? No.
Oh,
Spring from the
long
top.
field, get guided? Oh, that's not wall
Is
guided.
it
Yeah, wall would be if the injector came in this way. The injector comes in straight from
That
the
is
top.
spray guided.
Yeah, okay. Did
That's
that
not good,
one. My pressure fuel pump is powered by the camshaft. Like we saw on that one right there, right? Might see this question tomorrow.
All the following are suspended to the gasoline direct injection except
But you will see it tomorrow.
disadvantages.
is it B?
In fact, all three of these you will see tomorrow. 7, 8, and 9. Make sure you're paying attention. What is the question? Answer to question number 7.
B?
D?
Boy.
Yes. B. The fuel pressure regulator is deactivated. The fuel pressure defaults to what?
Low pressure mode.
Low pressure is where the default's gonna be, yes. What is the voltage that the injectors run on?
12.
12 to 14.
50 to 90 in a gasoline directed injection. Port fuel is 12 volts.
Hmm.
50 to 90, you'll see that tomorrow. In fact, you'll see this one tomorrow too. All 4 of these. Fuel lines must be what?
Replace.
Replaced. Okay. Okay. We're gonna do electronic throttle control systems and then we're gonna call it a day.
And what chapters are we?
We're gonna have to go to 85, so since
85.
we only have one more day anyway,
Um,
we'll get through it and have time to go back over what we did today.
has anybody ever had water from that water fountain they got out there?
That one over there? Yeah.
Yeah, is it decent? It's not bad. It don't taste metal?
It's alright. Have you tasted it?
Nah.
Go
I
ahead.
usually, go a whole day with this, and I'm chugging it since I got in my car.
All right, electronic throttle control system. Electronic throttle control system. Let's look at 952 for a second, make sure we did one. The GDI system location of the injector varies depending on the design, so 2 is going to be B. If you're looking through the quiz questions on 952,
2 is B?
B, injector location, yes.
What was number 1, I'm sorry?
Directly into the question chamber, you know that, you answered that question earlier.
Oh, okay, I didn't read the question.
Okay. The pressure fuel pump regulator is controlled by using an electronic pressure control valve. Pressure is 500 to 2900, we did already. Voltage 50 to 90 if it's GDI, 12 to 14 if it's port fuel injected. Stratified mode for 7. Decreased throttle response for 8, we did. Less need for fuel and acceleration is B for 9, we did that one too. And we did 10. Okay, electronic throttle control. If you do not have electronic throttle control, you have what? If your car does not have this, what does it have?
Manual.
It doesn't have electronic throttle.
If it does not have this, what does it have? A wire?
Yeah, it's like a
What kind of wire? You mean a cable? Cable. Huh?
A throttle cable.
Manual.
Isn't that the
Cable,
same
dude.
thing that's
Cable, yeah, cable driven.
connected to that like
That's
thing at the
connected
top
to
of
the
the motor?
accelerator. You move the accelerator, kind of pulls the cable, opens the throttle, right? This is done by wire, all electronic.
I might be thinking of something different. I'm not sure if I am or not. So a lot of cars that have the cable instead of electronic, don't they have something that's factory where it's at the top of the motor where like you can push the lever forward that opens up the throttle?
Mm-hmm.
And that like is that factory or is that something that you can like just
No,
connect
that's,
the cable to?
that's the way they are.
That's okay.
Yeah, like, her Forerunners that way.
Okay.
You can, it's got a cable on it, you can just grab a hold of it and just open the throttle, rev the engine right from under the hood, which is one of the things you can't do on a electronic throttle control. All right, if it doesn't have that, it's got a cable, and that's older systems, but
Yeah, I was also wondering, if some cars you can just buy them good and this project is crazy, but you can't do that in some cars. I was like, one
Yeah.
time I was looking for it, and my parents just thought I was like, where's the throttle? Grab it.
you can't do it. Yep. Because this is all you got. Right? Got the electrical connector here. There's no place to open the throttle, you know, because there's no place to put a cable. It's all done through the motor.
No, it's electric.
This one's electronic, yeah. There's no place for a cable, right? Just an electrical connector.
Plus, some of the muscle cars, they have like those big air thingies. You
Uh-huh.
just grab it from the
Yep, besides a cable, you can grab a hold of that thing underneath the hood and wing the engine. Yep.
What were those things usually for? Is it just to get air in it when they give it gas? Cause you know they have like those 3 tubes on like on the muscle cars, like that huge thing that has like.
He's talking about the blowers.
Blow it.
Oh.
Like when you just gas it, like 3 of them open like this.
Yeah. That's the same thing as that. It's just three
Just
of them.
three of them
That's
for
just the
more
throttle
air.
plate, yeah. But it's exposed, you know, so you can actually see it. They don't run air filters on them, but yeah.
What does it really do? Like,
More air.
more air in it?
Yeah, they're typically on a blower, roots type blower, and sitting on top of the blower. So the fuel's injected down here and you're getting the air on the top, but yeah, that's typically just race
So-
car stuff.
Question, kind of along the lines of that. So they have the original throttle body that's on the car already, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they can put a supercharger on that,
Mhm.
and then they can put that the blower attached to the supercharger, right?
It
Or is that something
depends.
different?
You can do it a couple of different ways.
Okay, because
Normally, the
throttle body.
the boost, obviously there's hoses and stuff in the coolant, but it's actually blowing air right into the throttle.
Yeah, that's the turbo though. I mean, for like a
Right.
supercharger.
Oh,
So,
for the supercharger?
yeah.
No, then it's behind the throttle instead of in front of it, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's like a blow through or a pull through kind of,
Okay.
yeah. And on the turbo applications, they actually have to have a stronger return on this
Yeah.
throttle body because the pressure will kind of, boost pressure tries to kind of keep it open
Okay.
because it's blowing air in there, yeah.
Motor blows. Because we sell a stock
Mm-hmm.
throttle.
Which is one of the reasons why when if you're driving a turbocharged car and you let off the throttle and it's under boost, it doesn't slow down right away. You know, it takes a second. That boost pressure still has to go somewhere,
Mhm.
or you'll hear the blow off valve, you know, blow the pressure off.
Yeah.
Okay. So how the position of the accelerator pedal is detected. It still has a throttle position sensor. It's just all in that one little unit there. Typical parts of it. How to diagnose faults in it. If there's a fault in the electronic throttle control system, it's pretty simple to diagnose. Normally, you're just going to get a message on the dash along with the check engine light that says reduced engine power or something like that. So if it can't properly control the throttle, it's just going to go into default mode and you're going to be going meh. You might get 20 miles an hour out of the car. Okay, it won't let you accelerate. You can push foot all the way to the floor, and the car's still going to go 15 or 20 miles an hour. Okay, it won't let you get yourself in trouble if there's a fault with the system. Advantages: eliminates the fact that you have a throttle cable. Eliminates the need for cruise control actuators and controllers because the cruise control is all in the throttle body now. helps reduce engine power for traction control and electronic stability control, eliminates the need for an idle air control valve. Your accelerator pedal position sensor is actually your gas pedal. You have sensors on that. So if you had to replace an APP sensor, it's the whole accelerator pedal assembly. You're gonna get this whole thing right here if this APP sensor goes bad. Okay? You're actually gonna get a new pedal, not just a sensor. So how does it work? They call it fly-by-wire or something like that, right? Or drive-by-wire? It's this, changes voltage here, this interprets it, and then opens the throttle plate to wherever you have your foot to give you the acceleration that you're asking for. We took that apart before and looked inside there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question. So some cars, like how he was talking about, sometimes when the car is running on the throttle body and the intake, they don't have the tube connected to the actual throttle port. Some like videos that I see when they're driving, after they hit the gas, the throttle just, you know, flap instead of like stay open, close, stay open, close. As they're applying pressure, it just flaps kind of.
Really?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Do
know
you think
what you
that's
mean,
a
but
problem, or you think that's just the force
I
of the
don't-
wind pushing against
I
it?
don't know that it should do that.
Yeah. I actually, I'm not gonna check it out now, but I might have
Yeah.
a video.
Yeah.
I think I do actually. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay, what parts do you not need if you have electronic throttle control?
Throttle
The
cable.
cable.
Cable, idle air control valve, cruise control stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Normal operation. These normal conditions include the engine may not increase above idle speed when depressing the accelerator pedal when the gear selector is in park or neutral. It won't let you over rev the engine. If it's in park or neutral, you can put your foot all the way to the floor and it will not over rev the engine. Usually won't let it go above maybe 2,500. When accelerating rapidly, there's often a slight delay. Normally, you don't really notice it, but if you're used to driving a car with a cable throttle and then you get in another one, you might notice a slight difference. While the cruise speed, the accelerator pedal may or may not cause the engine speed to increase if the accelerator pedal is moved slightly. 30 millisecond delay, yeah, enough to kind of feel it, but not a big deal. A cable operated system uses a cable connected to the accelerator pedal. They use two sensors in there. They act together to give an accurate accelerator pedal position information to the controller, but also used to check to make sure that it's working properly. They double check each other. This is a safety related sensor, so it has to be very reliable. They actually are very reliable. Throttle plate is held slightly open by concentric clock spring. We saw that when I just showed you that throttle body. It has an electronic motor in there. It's held slightly open by that concentric clock spring. Throttle plate motor is driven by a bidirectional pulse width modulated signal from the PCM using an H-bridge circuit, which we don't have to worry too much about. Which it looks like that in the schematic, or that. Okay. Two throttle position sensors are used on the throttle body assembly to provide the signal to the PCM. They're used as a fail-safe measure. They're constantly checking each other and they work opposite of each other. Potentiometers and Hall effect. Schematic of that, note that terminal 5 is always pulse width modulated and terminal 3 is always constant, but both power and ground are switched to change the direction of the motor. If you have a failure, fail-safe only will let the engine run between 12 to 1600 RPM. There's either slow response or no response when you push the accelerator pedal. Cruise control is disabled, diagnostic trouble code is set, and a warning lamp will come on that says reduced engine power or something to do with the throttle control to let you know that that's what happened. The system will compensate for a vacuum leak if you do have a vacuum leak. Normally on the other type, the engine operator would just come up if you had a vacuum leak. Okay, here's how these sensors work. They produce opposite voltage signals as the throttle is opened. The total voltage of both combined at any position is still 5 volts. As one goes up, the other goes down. So these sensors work opposite of each other. There's your warning light. It's going to say something like that. Reduced engine power. May have a picture of a throttle plate. May have a picture of an engine with an arrow that points down, indicating that you have reduced engine power. Sometimes you will get other warning lamps on at the same time. In this particular image, it says the throttle plate stayed where it was moved, indicating there's a problem with the electronic throttle body. As you can see, they're not supposed to stay where you move it. It will return when you let go of it. We took that apart once upon a time earlier and looked at it. You can control the idle speed with the scan tool on these type of vehicles. You can make the throttle open, you can control the idle speed, you can put it pretty much wherever you want it. Performance issues could be lower than normal idle speed, rough idle, stalls when it come into a stop, called coast down stall. Periodically, they will have to be cleaned to get carbon buildup on them. There's a throttle body air compensation percentage that it monitors. If the throttle body gets dirty, you will have to clean it periodically and reset the idle air compensation on it. Relearn procedure, pretty simple. Scan tool will tell you how to do that.
So I was looking for the video. I don't think I found it, but I found something else you might like.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Last one for today. Hang on to that. We'll check it out after this. He's getting the shot over in the head, yeah. Cable must have broke or something.
So would that have to be automatic to do it like that? Because if you were to put it
Yeah.
in neutral, wouldn't you have to?
No, that's not electronic, or you wouldn't be able to move it.
I'm saying, what if it wouldn't have to be automatic to do that?
What do you mean by
If
automatic?
you had it in the transmission, if it was a manual transmission, would you have to, oh, they got something in the car. So
Oh,
if it
yeah,
was, okay.
sure. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still trying to find that video I was talking about, but. Now it just popped up and I was like,
Everybody done with this?
is 1C?
Let's see. The engine
I was iffy
used
on
for
B.
quick noise heard from under the hood. This is normal operation. That is normal operation.
I was iffy on B though.
It's not moving unless the engine is running.
If the engine is running, it could idle. In idle speed, if you have it in gear.
A is what we're looking for. Identify the throttle position sensor in this diagram.
A.
So, wait, one was what? You see?
A, no,
Oh,
it's
it's
A.
just A?
2 is A.
Yeah.
2 is A, yeah.
Three is A.
3 is A. Drive motor, that's this guy right here. Driving these other gears.
Number 4.
Number 4
I thought about.
is gonna look familiar to you tomorrow.
Throttle plate adapter. Motor is what type of electric motor? B.
That is correct, it is a DC motor.
3 was A, right?
3 was A, yes.
With the ignition off and the key out of the ignition, which happen if the technician uses a screwdriver to gently push on the throttle plate in an attempt to open the valve. C.
Okay. You should move and spring back to the home position when released. Throttle body may be cleaned, you'll see this one, that's gonna look familiar to you, may be cleaned if recommended, if what conditions are occurring.
D,
All of them. Yep.
the accelerator pedal position sensor uses B, 2, or 3 sensors.
Yep,
That's good.
correct. 2 or 3.
The accelerator position sensor outputs 2 identical redundant voltage signals. True. False. I said
False.
false. I said false.
You might see that one too.
You didn't hear that first.
Are those 2 sensor outputs identical? They're opposite each other, remember? As one goes up, the other goes down. They're not redundant. What type of circuit? You might see this one too. That is an H-bridge circuit.
What, that's on page 56, right? 956?
Which one?
For number 9?
For number 9? Should be on 955.
E and H bridge circuit.
Mhm, yeah. Yep.
I'm looking right at it.
Let's see how you do on this one. Number 10, in this diagram, which terminals are used for the throttle position sensors?
Is it A?
It is. Very good, very good.
Because the source and the ground have to be included, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then
1, 2, 4, and 6, those are your variable resistors for your throttle position sensors.
None was, what?
9?
H-bridge.
Okay.
All right. You might see this one too. No, you will see this one too. Technician is checking the operation of the electronic throttle control system by depressing the accelerator pedal when the gear selector is in park. What's most likely going to happen?
No throttle.
Most likely, if it's working correctly.
What's the answer? I can't see that.
No throttle movement. Number 2 is a DC motor. We did that one. This one's going to show up tomorrow too. The green wrench. The green wrench. Just remember, the green wrench is a Ford thing. When the ignition's first turned on, we did. Throttle position sensor, we did. Okay, the use of electronic throttle control allows elimination of all of these listed except for one of them.
Air control. Use of-
So what they're asking you here is, which of these possible things does it still have to have?
Which
Except
one does it have to have?
Yeah, it's asking you, it says it'll eliminate everything except for one of them.
the
Except
cable, I mean, doesn't have to do anything with the electronics.
accelerator pedal. Oh, no.
B.
Yeah, it has to have the cable.
This question's gonna look familiar to you tomorrow, so you better understand it. This is easy. This allows the elimination of everything except for one of these things.
Is that the electric pedal?
Do you still have to have an accelerator pedal?
Yes.
Does the accelerator pedal disappear because you have electronic?
Oh,
Of course
okay.
it doesn't. That question should be more than obvious. The people in the CNA class should be able to answer that question. Okay, we did that one, and that one. When does the self-test happen of the system?
During acceleration.
When the ignition switch is first rotated to the
Yep,
right position.
before the engine even starts, it'll do a self-test. Are these signals voltages identical?
Yes.
False.
No,
No.
they're opposite each other. Okay. That is that. Actually, we'll look at the questions in the book before we. One is the obvious answer, just like we talked about. Allows elimination of everything except the accelerator pedal, you kind of still have to have that. To what extent is the throttle plate spring loaded to hold it slightly open? If you look at that throttle body, you'll notice that throttle plate is slightly open.
3 to 5.
It's 16 to 20%. DC motor for 3 we did. Accelerator, pedal, position, sensor, use 2 or 3 sensors. The output rating varying signal, which is the purpose of using more than one. All of those are purposes for using more than one.
5 is D.
5 is D, we did that one. It's either one for 6. Green wrench is the Ford thing we did. No throttle movement on number 8, we did that one as well. Throttle should move then spring back to the home position for 9, we did as well. And cleaning any of the above, we did that one too. All right. See y'all tomorrow. Alrighty.